I got a giant list of questions for you. First one is, Cat looked pretty good as a Wembanyama opponent on both ends. Well, what'd you think about that?
I mean, he's so much better than Chet and Isaiah. This was a big, big factor in picking the Knicks. This is a man in his prime playing at his best on both ends. The best we've seen him play defense. Credit Mike Brown and also credit Cat and the coaching staff. And he's so much better than those guys on offense. And also older experience than Chet, and also doesn't have the baggage. Chet's always got his ass kicked by Wemby. I listen. I spoke to this past week. I spoke to some friends of Chet, NBA players who love him, believe in him, and know him well, and they've never seen that from him. He was. I always said he's like a dog that hates water after a bath. He looked like that, right? They had their own thoughts. All of them not good. Cat is not that guy.
No.
So it's a we wrote this. Cat's hard to guard on downhill drives. That'll be an adjustment. Wemby guarded him like he was Chet.
Yeah.
He ain't Chet.
Right.
Chet, one day Chet might be better than Cat. That day's not today. He's obviously a great rim protector and all that. Very, very good player. He
What
is
does that
not
mean?
because
How did Wemby guard him?
way too much pressure, standing straight up, 30 feet away.
Yeah.
You have to. I know what they were doing. They were trying to force the drive. Well, congratulations, you did. It didn't work out great. Maybe you were counting on help. And then remember, one of the main parts of this whole thing was the team that the Spurs beat. They were down 3-2.
Yeah.
Okay, the team they beat the last two games didn't have all those kind of weapons that the Knicks have, and the Knicks didn't even shoot great. Now neither did San Antonio, to be fair. But yeah, so I think they were thinking, we'll pressure, we'll bring some help. Well, they didn't get the help they wanted, and Cat is hard to guard going downhill. And I don't think Cat played well. Nearly, I heard someone on podcast today, the best game he's ever played. I don't know about that. It was certainly a pivotal game, but he rushed his finishes at the rim way too many times. He's got to play off 2 feet. One of the secrets to going against Wemby is if you are forcing him to help quickly, he's going to be a little more amped up, and he's susceptible to a shot fake. If you're bullying him, he can control his impulses, and he's not going to go for a fake. So a couple of times when Cat was cutting, one in particular, when they reversed the call, Wemby, they initially called a foul on Wemby. It ended up being a Cat foul. That should have been a Cat fake because Wemby had to react quickly. That's something they should learn. When you're coming in and Wemby is suddenly going from one to the other, that's when you fake him because he's on edge. But when he's timing you up, the fakes won't matter. Then you pass out. And so I thought Cat was good. I think he can be better. Maybe defensively, he'll make some more mistakes and foul, which is something he's done before. That was not the case so much yesterday. But he's a terrific player. And when Wemby goes out of the game, they run a little Cat pinch post action, get a little backdoor layup. Like they've got nuances and flavors to their offense that aren't just Brunson go make a great shot. Oh, he's got that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's better, and we can get to plenty of adjustments, but they guarded him like he isn't as good as Shea. Too much of the game. I expect.
Clinton, you mean?
Yeah. I expect to see that's going to change, but again, the Knicks other guys are better than the Thunder other guys those last two games. This is why we favor New York in the series.
So, Wemby goes 6 for 21 with 6 turnovers. Does somebody get credit for that? Is that a trend, or is that just?
Oh yeah. Well, Wemby deserves blame. He tried to drive into a crowd, and that's absurd.
Yeah.
And also, the Knicks are sharks just like the Thunder, and they're bigger, stronger, not as quick, bigger, stronger. And they didn't call. There was not a lot of free throws taken in the game, and not a lot of time in bonus. And we're not calling a lot. This is the way the game is. That's why I'm texting all my players about handle. You have to be able to handle the ball against this kind of aggressive pressure. Rugby on wood, we're calling it. And so that's something Wemby can clean up. I thought Wemby's entire demeanor, his disposition was just good. Against the Thunder in game one, when he had the 40 and 24, whatever it was, we haven't seen that bully since.
No.
And he needs to get back to that. But it's easier to do it against that team than this team with Cat and Mitch. Those are big dudes. So this is where the game's going to be won or lost for San Antonio beyond just shooting is how much Wemby can really make things happen in the paint and how much is he willing to fight down there.
Mhm. The Knicks did not have an easy time scoring. I just looked this up. They were 1.2 points per possession all season, 1.24 during their playoff streak before the finals, and then 1.05 in game one. And it looked, I mean, for a lot of the night, they had a hell of a time scoring. So this seems like the Spurs defense is working, but the Spurs had an even harder time scoring. What were the Knicks doing to make that happen?
Well, first, let's go to your first point. I don't agree that they had a hard time scoring. Then they had a hard time finishing. And also, I think there's an adjustment there, Henry. I thought going into the game, they've been reading all the hype on Victor. And at halftime, they realized we can score on him some. We don't have to run away from him because at first they weren't even thinking about challenging him. And then they kind of figured we can, and they also wore down a little bit too, which I think part of the design. And so I thought they were blowing by the Spurs. They made a couple threes early, but they were living in the second box, but not doing anything with it when Wemby was around. And I think they got better at that. So I think we'll see them score better in many of the games going forward. Um, and the Spurs have to do a better job of keeping guys in front because this team has weapons everywhere and also murders you on the glass. But they did not do that yesterday, last night. They weren't, were they 10? I don't remember any off the boards, maybe 10. It wasn't a ton. They were
The
good,
Knicks,
not
the
great.
Knicks had 10, the Spurs had 14. It felt to me like by the end, the Knicks offensive rebounds were late, and so
Yes.
felt like these it felt like they were getting tons of them. But I looked it up, and yeah, they only had 10 all game.
No, they only had 10. Yeah. And obviously had some timely ones, including the one where Brunson kept it alive. They, one of the things we said going in is normally I favor a team who played a tougher series, the series before in game one, first half of game one. And the Spurs did win the first half of game one. Um, but I did not think that advantage was as strong because of the Knicks' predilection for just toughness and fighting. They are a experienced, tough team. And I thought they were fully in control of their emotions. I did not think that was San Antonio, specifically Dylan Harper. Every time Dylan Harper scored and did the Hulk or whatever, I just thought, dude, just get back on defense, man.
Mhm.
Nobody give a fuck. Just fucking play. Stop doing that. Nobody cares. The Knicks weren't doing that. You get an and one is one thing. If they don't call an and one, can you please just get back on defense? And I just thought the Spurs showed their lack of experience. Uh, if I'm not a gambling man, but if I was, if the Knicks, I don't know what the lines were. I actually have no idea. But after what I heard from Victor yesterday before the game, where he said they still can't believe, I would have bet heavily on the Knicks. Like, I mean, unless he was suckering you, but he said we haven't come down yet. I'm like, oh, you better come down.
Yeah, now's the
And
time
I
to come
thought,
down, buddy. Yeah,
yeah, this team you're playing is much better than the team you beat those last two games. Maybe not as good as the team that was beating you, but they were beating you, you know? And I mean, did you see what Jalen Brunson did when the game was over? Did you watch this morning?
so oh, I
So
know
the
what the
game was
Knicks to the
over.
ref.
It's exactly right.
Yeah,
He complained to Scott Falster. Yep.
yeah,
Like this is a sober, thoughtful CEO
yeah.
who recognizes there's a lot going on here. This is just one nice little battle we won, but there's a lot of mind games we still have to wage here.
He did it at
Yeah.
halftime too. He did it both times.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
both yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And
More
I get it.
meetings. Yeah.
And I'm not at all suggesting only the Knicks didn't get the calls. I'm not suggesting that at all.
Sure.
But it was very physical. That's an advantage to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Brunson took 4 free throws, I think. I think Cat also. There's not a lot of free throws. I don't know that that's going to continue. But one of the many variables that can happen that can easily change the dimensions of the series.
This was interesting. Josh Hart had the best plus minus in
Yeah,
the game by a
amazing.
mile, plus 22, but he had 3 points. He had 1 bucket, didn't hit a 3, but he had 15 rebounds. Like he was just it seemed like he was everywhere, but
Yeah,
he wasn't doing
He also
anything
had
he traditionally value. Yeah.
big steal late in the game. I don't know if they gave him the credit of the steal, but he knocked it away. Again, any one game plus minus, I pay attention. I don't necessarily think it has meaning. I have to look more. Oh, this one had meaning. Josh Hart he's just fantastic. He just does all the things. And I'll tell a story. I talked to one of his coaches early in his career. I was down on Josh Hart. I thought he was better than what he really was. And the coach agreed with me before the season started. And then the season started and they started playing. And this was, Josh was not a rookie, but we didn't know who he was yet. And the coach said, okay, I'm all in on Josh Hart. Like, the dude just wants to
Right.
win. He just wants to win. And then Jalen Brunson after the game said, this is just what he does.
Yeah.
Yep, this is what he does. And we saw this going in, that his physicality matters. It's an interesting matchup of the two teams because normally the Thunder, I'm sorry, the Knicks kill you on the glass, but this is Wemby. Yet there's still attacks to keeping those guys off the glass. And I thought that late in the game, it would be likely that the Knicks would shoot better. Brunson is a factor. And I didn't know how well the Spurs would do given the enormity of what's going on and their relative inexperience. And I thought that's how it played out. I have no idea if they'll figure it out more in game two. Castle wasn't very good as a shooter. Devin Vassell missed so many open shots. Fox was not good offensively. But I also think the Knicks passed up a lot of good shots because of Wemby that they're not going to pass up as much going forward. And they also I thought the Knicks took more bad shots than the Spurs did and missed a lot of those bad shots. I could see shot selection being better for them as well. And the Knicks cleaned up their transition defense in the second half. That made a difference too. I would not be surprised the Knicks win game two, Henry. I think they're a better team. That doesn't mean they'll win, obviously. We're going to see a great game. Better game, I think.
There was this really struck me. No Spurs bench player played more than 12 minutes. The whole bench together played 35, whereas on the Knicks, it was 83 minutes of bench time, 33 just for Landry Shamet, and they were the Spurs bench were all negative in plus minus, except for Keldon Johnson was +1, whereas the Knicks bench were pretty much break even.
Yeah, I mean the Spurs. They did this in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals too. They were kind of a short bench a lot, and they might have a shorter bench going forward. I mean, Carter Bryant played some. I'm not sure he'll play much, much more going forward. They need him probably maybe in game two, and then less so when they start getting more rest. When they get that extra day a few different times in the series. But this is they're running back tomorrow, and before they know it, it's gonna be 2 games in, and they're still gonna be coming down from beating the Thunder.
Yeah.
And they better realize, no, it's right now. I thought last year, if you remember, the way the Pacers to win, the way the Pacers could win the series, this is before game one, is you split, especially game one, but you split and then you win two in Indiana. You go up 3-1, I thought they'd win the series. In game four, up 2-1, they died in the fourth quarter. Absolutely just dead. Andrew Nembhard in particular died, just was exhausted. And they made a change. I think we wrote about this. They changed what they were doing. They stopped having to pick up full court because they have them in the game. And so I feel like this game two is that same story for San Antonio. If the Knicks are going to definitely win the series, they win game two. If the Spurs are going to win the series, they have to win game two. We're that kind of in that moment. Because I think going to New York, I think game three is going to be, I mean, listen, anyone can happen in game three, but I think it's going to be one of the greatest, most electric crowds in NBA history. First of all, just the amount of money you pay to go to that game, you better bring all you got. Right?
But but it's like freaking JP Morgan guys who go to that game, and it's like their first game of the year, you know? They're just not, I mean,
Yeah,
they'll be
maybe. Yeah.
loud, but they're not regular fans, you know? This is the regular fans.
They're not regular fans, but they're not regular fans in your sense. You're not wrong, but it's really catching fever. It's such a great team to root for too. I know you and I both feel that way. Like this is not a team that just spent a whole bunch of money. In fact, Brunson took less than we could have got, and they've added some people through with Carlton Towns and Bridges, and then they traded DiVincenzo, and I think it's an easy team to root for. I love the way they play. I think both teams really. Yeah, go ahead.
The city is like, I spent all last weekend in New York City, and I'm going back tomorrow. Like, where the real fans are is outside, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and that's really fun. And then they did this thing. I mean, I lived in New York in the summer of 1994, 95 when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, and you could buy a $10 ticket to go watch the road games in Madison Square Garden. That was fun as hell. I'm not a hockey fan at all, but they did that. They put that on sale for the Knicks games on the road, 1 and 2, and sold out in minutes. So then they opened up Summer Stage, which is like where they have Shakespeare in the Park in the summer.
Yeah.
And so that's the second. So that I'm like, I actually will be in New York tomorrow night, and I'm like, but I'm busy. Can't. I'm like, man,
The
that's where I
person you
think
have
it'd be
called
really
is not
fun.
available.
It could be
Please leave a
really
message after
fun.
the tone.
Are you hearing that? Can you hear me now?
Hold on.
Okay,
The
am I
problem with
back?
doing on your phone. I got you.
Something really weird happened there. Anyway, but
I just keep
yeah,
getting phone calls.
New York is just full of people who are on
Yeah.
fire with Knicks fandom right now, which is like that's the fun part. The people in MSG, it's all freaking Leon Black and a bunch of hosers like that.
Yeah, but no, it's not all Leon Black. It's you're right about the Chase guys, but I think I remember being in DC. I got caught in a Brazilian traffic jam. I was in DC, it's a long time ago. The Brazilians just won the World Cup.
Yeah,
And the euphoria pouring out into the streets. I didn't do much, but I was excited and I didn't even watch the game. I didn't even know the game was going on. Back then I didn't pay much attention to the World Cup. I think everyone in that arena for game 3 is going to be just they're just going to be part of a throng of cheering. I will say some of the celebrities that are going, they're all in.
yeah,
I don't care if you're a celebrity or not, but you could tell they're living and dying with the Knicks for whatever reason. A lot of these guys and women, I mean, they watched it with their dad. Like I was that way with boxing.
yeah.
Right? I used to watch my papa, not my dad, my papa, and so I loved Ali fights and whatever. And so there's, and, it's going to be great. But I think New York is super focused on game 2. I really do. I think I expect them to play better in game 2. I hope the Spurs play better. I want it to be a great game. But the Knicks got lucky. They played a bunch of bad teams, but they are not lucky to be great. And
No,
they're a
sir.
hell of a team.
So it sounds like you're like before the game, you thought the Knicks would win. Seems like
Yeah.
more so now.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought the best Spurs, the best, it's not rocket science. The best chance for Spurs to win the series would be to win game 1 and get that advantage right away. Uh, I mean, listen, there were twice during the game where I thought the Knicks would lose. I'm sorry. Yeah, Knicks would lose. Both times when Brunson got hurt.
Yeah,
The second time when they showed on film, I realized he was flopping. I thought, okay, they're fine. But there was never a period I thought New York wouldn't make it a good game. And to me, for the Spurs to win, they needed a nice margin late, and they just couldn't maintain the margin. I thought in game 1, New York would have an advantage in a slower half-court game, which is what the game became. That's an advantage to the Knicks as well. Spurs want to play faster. I do think New York is going to be smart, pragmatically about running. They can get easy shots, especially when Victor's not back. If Victor's at the rim, I think they're going to race. If Victor's behind 3, different story. But they're just a very pragmatic team about when they can get their points. I thought OG was good, not great. He'll be better, I think. Bridges missed some shots that he's not been missing in the playoffs. I still think the Knicks have a lot more punches to throw. And I think the Spurs, I'm less confident in guys like Castle and Devin Vassell and Darren Fox. They're not as seasoned. And they just went through a hell of a series, beat that incredible Thunder team. Even though they're missing guys, it's still beating the champs.
so David, I think of you as like full of love and very patient and very human. But a couple things really get your goat. One of them is wasps. We've talked about this before.
Hey, fucking
Really
Ross.
about wasps. Number 2 is when they say that the team that wins game 1 is 70% to win the finals. That got you really mad when the broadcaster said that. Can you explain that?
Well, they show the graphic that teams who win game 1 win 70% of the finals. Fantastic. But can you tell us what the odds are when the road team wins?
Yeah,
Because in most cases, it's the home team that was the favorite team to begin with.
right.
I want to know that. Now, again, as I reminded you, the Pacers won game 1 last year and lost the series. I just feel like if you're going to show us some math, can you please complete the equation? I would have liked to, I'm sure someone can tell us what the odds are for the road team if they win game 1. And I don't think they stole anything. I know it's just a word, but words matter to people. They didn't steal anything. The Pacers stole game 1 last year. They were down and out. The Knicks were not down and out in this game, really, ever. I mean, a couple of double-figure lead, was like 21 or something. There was never a period where I thought,
Yeah.
maybe 13, yeah. There was never, other than when Brunson went down, I saw the Brunson knee injury live,
Yeah.
and then they replayed it. that is scary. I had no idea what would happen. When he came back in, I thought, okay, they're fine. Then he went down again. They showed the flop. I'm like, he's fine. And he was totally fine. Uh, that shot he made on Devin Vassell. Well, you made a point about arc,
Mm-hmm.
right? In your pre draft, your pre notes. Why don't you go into that? We can talk about that.
Yeah. So I feel like what we're seeing right now is Victor Wembanyama is a new force on defense, which is forcing players into attacking the rim in ways they haven't practiced their whole lives. Right. So Jose Alvarado had that sneaky, like they pointed it out on the broadcast. He rushed it to
Quick
the
off the
glass.
board. Yeah.
Yeah. That's smart. That's smart. Right. But this isn't how we would ordinarily finish. Right. And we've seen a lot of players just do a U turn, not something they would normally do. Right. Or we've seen, you were mentioning Cat was too spazzy, too fast and trying to get the ball to the rim because you were worried about Victor. My hunch is that working with coaches like you, a whole bunch of the NBA is going to spend all summer with more comfortable practiced methods of scoring with this defender, right? And so for Brunson, we've seen him make that he's all the moves of finishing from
Yeah.
whatever 12 feet, but last night you could clearly see him like, oh, I'm going to put a little Victor Wembanyama level arc on that, like. That's not exactly how he normally shoots it because he's been practicing for shooting over other defenders, right? And my guess is that next year's playoffs, that will be a more routine shot for him and everyone. Not everyone, but like all the smart attacking players will have spent this offseason adjusting. And this is where I respect the NBA so much, right? These are real. This is the free market. This is this is capitalism at work where it's like, oh, new problem to solve. Like super hardworking, brilliant people are going to spend months solving that problem. And right now we're kind of on the first go around of really having teams try to solve how to score with Victor in the paint.
Well, I can't speak to teams, but I can tell you that my guys are doing it all over the country right now.
Yeah.
Um, I texted one of my little NBA players, so anything below like 6'4", the Jose, quick reverse. He got off the board quickly. Instead of going high off the glass, which is normally how we teach it, while it's going up, he can block it before it hits the glass. He did it early. So I texted my player, fucking kid, send me back. He did it against Wemby.
Yeah.
He already had done it. I had forgotten he did it. I watched the game live and
well done, young man. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But the point is that the crafty guys are already thinking about stuff like this. I'm just making it part of our routine, literally. But I'm sure Brunson worked on this. He's had a lot of time. And by the way, Chet's pretty good too. So I think he's been working on this for a while. I don't think the Devin Vassell shot was a Wemby shot. Devin contested it really, really well. But Wemby has that in his bag. The key will be the other guys, like Jose. The other guys have to. You just have to prepare for it. And I think you're right. Wemby's in the league 3 years, but this is the first year where it's really kind of soaking into the ground, so to speak,
where you
of the
have to do it for
groundwork.
him to win a championship. Yeah, now that's what we know. Yeah.
That's a quote that I wrote last night to some of the players I have that are contenders next year. Is this is why I want you doing these things versus Wemby now in your mind. You have to get through him next year. I mean, you got to get through OKC. They're not going anywhere. They're going to be great. And maybe Denver will make some additions too.
And I don't agree that he had a long time. Like, I think that, if you grow up playing basketball, then you shoot,
Yeah.
like you practice a three with a certain high arc that's relative to making the rim big from the perspective of the ball, right? Like there's a certain arc that is how everybody grows up shooting, right? And there's a certain way you shoot with, to shoot over a high school big or then a college big, it gets a little bigger, right? Like this is not how anybody grew up, right? Like literally nobody grew up playing with the amount of arc you need to shoot over this guy. So it's not 20 years, it's maybe a week, but we're trying to overcome 20 years of basketball where just like there's a certain amount of arc you need to put on.
So I'm going to make it a cleaner thing for you. There's no doubt in my mind Brunson's made that shot a ton before. He's unique. The crafty guys have always tried all sorts of different arcs, especially when they're little and don't jump high, right? He's more used to it than a lot of the other guys. Trust me. I had some shots really high arc because I was 6 feet tall and I played against guys that were 6'5" and 6'6". And my next door neighbor was like a 6'6" wingspan, and I had to get it off over him. And it works against other guys too. Brunson's had this in his bag before. he also has a timing
In
thing.
his bag, but David, still, it's like it's gonna be 4% of the shots he attempts would be high enough to go over Wemby, right? Like, if you put, you know, a Luke Cornett in there, like, Brunson could take a shot that was 25% of his shots. It's very different, right? Like, yeah, he has it in his bag, but it's not home, right? Like, it's something he
It's
can't
not
do.
the
The
most
fact
right,
is
but it never will be.
everybody's shooting a shitty percentage against Wemby. There's a reason, right?
Right,
Like, they
right.
don't have it in their bag, right?
But that's never going to change because there's never going to be the lion's share of your shots because there's only one of those dudes. You put a whole bunch of Wemby's in where you're playing them every night, it'll start to become 80% of the kind of shots you take. But it won't be zero.
But
It's
I'm
not zero
thinking
now either.
I think there's gonna be a big difference though, because I'm put it to you that I'm gonna make up numbers. I'm gonna say the whole combined NBA right now has taken 1,000,000 shots over their lives that are at a high enough arc to score over Wemby in the paint, and I think the whole league's gonna take 1,000,000 more this summer, right? Like, I think it's gonna change. I think that it's a new priority because this is what you're hoping to have come out of you
I'm
taking
not
the lead.
arguing with you. I'm just saying Brunson's already done it way more than the other guys. He's way craftier and he's had to do it.
But that's yeah, but the whole thing is my point is, like, Wembanyama's ability to inspire misses from people taking shots they're not comfortable with will decline over time
Correct. Oh, of course. Yeah.
because
Other
of the
guys will
fact
be.
that
I'm
he's
just
gonna do
saying
this.
Brunson's just way ahead of the pack on that.
And he sucked,
And
and he sucked.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he
it's
shot
hard.
fucking 0% on those or maybe 1? Anyway, so,
It's
yeah,
hard.
I get
Oh, I thought his rhythm was off last night. I think that's why I think the Knicks can easily win game. Not easily. They can take game two. Their rhythm is it's about rhythm. They threw some lobs. It wasn't even just Wemby. It was Luke Cornett breaking it up. Like the read was terrible.
yeah,
Like there was you absolutely should shoot the shot because you're reading the big. If the big is retreating, you shoot the shot. The big is coming forward or standing still, you throw the lob. Well, the big was retreating and they still lobbed it. That's rhythm and timing from just being what did they play? What did they say? 4 games in 23 days? Did you hear that?
yeah,
How that's nuts. How many they didn't say this another mistake. How many did the Spurs play in 23 games? That'd have been nice to contrast the two. Do I have to do the math myself? If so, why am I listening to you? That's how I felt. The Knicks were off. I think Brunson is good. Brunson was not great last night. He was just clutch, but he wasn't great.
yeah,
Would never bet against that guy not figuring some stuff out. The team figured some stuff out against Wemby. And you made this point, I think it was a week or two ago. The fatigue factor of Wemby matters.
yeah.
And I absolutely believe New York is going to continue to talk about challenge him early. He might. I mean, by the way, he had a block shot. Whose shot did he block? One of the fucking greatest shot blocks I ever saw. Oh, he got beat by I think Cat. Yeah, like I've watched a lot of those drives in my life.
They called a foul, and then
No,
that
that was
was
a
the way it
different one.
ended?
No,
Oh,
that was the one where Cat fouled him. No, this was he just blocked it clean, and then they scored on the other end. But he got beat. But he didn't get beat because it's Wemby. Yeah, but that's where Cat's got to come to 2 feet, get in front of him, foul him, stake him up in the air. Like, I think there'll be a game in this series where Wemby gets in foul trouble. I don't know what game it's going to be. Could be game three, all the adrenaline from Madison Square Garden. But they were beating him to the rim, and then he wants you to shoot it with no decel, no craft, no fake, because then you're screwed. He's timing up so well. He's got great timing. You've got to, you got to have a cadence to that. You have to have a randomness to it, and you got to have more fakes against that guy. You just have to do it.
yeah, yeah. So do I know the thing with the broadcaster that pissed me off the most? It was the
Oh yeah,
first
of
year.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was so annoyed. Like, I mean, I don't think Legler put a lot of thought into it. It was like one of those quick hitting things they do coming
Yeah.
out of like a little commercial break before they go another commercial break. Um, but they said, what are the keys to the second half? And he's like, well, Julian Champagny made 5 of 6 threes, so they got to like
Oh yeah.
give their defense to him. And I'm like, the fuck you do? That was like there are things that are a result of strategy, right? And there are things that are just happen, and you don't shift your strategy because of it, right? And to me, like, you could go and look at the video. He was like reasonably covered. It wasn't like he was wide open. Um, wow, you're getting lit up by our guy Daniel over here in the comments.
I can't see anything.
Okay, great. He just thinks you're wrong. This person's gonna win. But
He's not alone.
but then yeah, honestly, Daniel, I'll say that's the point of having analysis, right? Like Vegas thinks that most people think the Spurs are gonna win. Like we got a guy who does this for a living and he thinks differently, which is the only reason it's interesting. If you thought the same as everybody else, well, you wouldn't have to watch the show, you know?
Listen,
And
I had the Pacers losing in 7 last year, and people blasted me for that.
sure
Whatever.
did.
I mean, I'm wrong plenty of times. It's hard to predict the future, Henry. Go on about what
Okay.
Champagne you're talking about.
To me, like a Champagne thing, I was like, no, like this is the perfect example of like if you tilt your defense to the Spurs, I don't know, fifth priority player, fourth, whatever it is, like suddenly you have made yourself vulnerable to much worse things, right? Things that are much more likely to succeed. Like, and meanwhile, he doesn't go 5 for 6. I don't know if he's probably ever gone 10 for 12. Like that is just not where this train is headed, right? Like you just have to keep playing, and he won't be 10 for 12, all without doing anything, and other than what you're already doing. And he finished 5 for 10. They didn't change
Well,
anything.
and listen, but you could not have to change and just be a little more aware of when he's in the corner, which is when he's at his most dangerous. I did think the Knicks overhelped a few times to guys that weren't really threats to score. So you're still not changing anything. You're just being smarter. I think both teams will get smarter about where the priorities are. There's a discipline. We talk about impulse control. You hear me say this all the time. It's on both ends. Impulse control of like De'Aaron Fox is struggling. I don't have to race to help him at the elbow when he's already pretty well guarded and struggling to score. I can stay on Champagne in the corner right now. De'Aaron Fox starts cooking a little bit. I have to make adjustments. This is what happens in the games all the time, right? There's a flow to this.
And like, we years ago, we did this huge story about the hot hand, right? And the reason about the hot hand. And basically, like if you hit a few shots in the NBA, you're less likely to make your next shot than if you didn't, right? Um, Not what we all thought. But and then you said to me when I was writing based on the research from Sloan, well, what happens if you start hunting shots? And to your point about shooting from the corner, I think I'm right in saying that all but one of Champagne's makes were from the corner, and his misses were not at all from the corner. Maybe he had one miss from the
Right.
corner. And in the second half, he basically took these above the break threes that he's
Yeah.
way lower percentage for him, like because he was hunting shots
Five.
because he was hot, right? This is how it
Yeah.
goes. To me, in a way, it's good. Like you want to stick Jalen Brunson on someone, right? Like this guy who's about to take some of the lower percentage shots in his repertoire. Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he's a great shooter. I'm a Champagne fan. I thought he was big on the glass. Great to see shooters that this is, I mean, not to change the subject entirely, but I thought Grady Dick could be like Champagne. And by the way, at this age, Champagne wasn't any good either.
Yeah.
I like shooters that play so effing hard. I thought Champagne played really, really hard. I also thought he talked a little too much too. He and Harper, like, just played. I don't think the Knicks are quiet guys, but I just thought they played.
Yeah.
Like, it's all that matters. If you think you can get an advantage over an opponent by talking, talk. I get it. But you think you're going to talk, you think you talk confidence out of these guys? I don't think there's any chance. Yeah. I mean, they played for Tom Thibodeau, most of them. But that resolve is there. And these guys are tough winners. And I give Cat a bunch of credit for his growth.
Yeah.
I heard someone talking about, I heard Amon Shumpert talking with the ESPN guys. It was this morning. They taped it last night. Shumpert didn't realize that Cat had a reputation for like softness, which seems weird to me that he didn't understand that. Mostly it's just lack of defense. But you're only as good as you're being coached and pushed to be. And nothing against Thibodeau. He just couldn't do it with Cat. Mike Brown and staff and Cat himself have done it. He's a fighter. They really, these teams compete. I thought the OKC San Antonio series was amazing in terms of level of competitiveness. And I think New York totally outplayed every team they played on that front. And they're very comfortable playing this way too. They have reached, and I bet Mike Brown, when the series is over, when asked, where did this come from? I bet he said the Pacers kicked our ass 2 years in a row. They were just fucking tougher than us. They fought harder than us and played faster than us. And we learned. Like the Pacers get some credit for what this Knicks team is now, because they took them above and beyond what New York's to get to, and New York's got to it. Now we'll see. The San Antonio's gonna try to play faster. We'll see how New York responds, but hard to speed up Brunson. He's really comfortable. A coach called me today and said that the ball really is part of Brunson's hands. It is. He's just always. I worried. I don't like anyone losing the ball at half court. I feel badly. One guy I think Fox got a steal at half court, and I missed it. I don't know if it was on Brunson or not. I just turned away for 1 second, but Brunson plays too much of the timeline, and there's a screen coming. Now there's four guys. I'm so afraid he's going to dribble backcourt
Me
or
too.
just lose the ball. He didn't do it. He knew what he was doing, and he knows how to get left. He is going to get left, and it's a genius because you can't, like Harden, can't stop him. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Well, he does. I
He's
mean, he
really
does have
incredible.
a lot of advantages from being short, but one of them is he's closer to the ground, right? The ball just doesn't have to go.
Jeez, yeah,
There's very little
yeah.
room for you to steal it.
True. No,
Yeah.
it's true. And we always say this to our players, to our small guys, use it to your advantage. They can't get, whereas Wemby is super tall, ball's traveling a long way. It's like going to Tokyo and back. Every time he dribbles, he's so tall. And you can't do it against these Sharks. You can't do it.
Yeah. You touched on it earlier, but before the series, you talked about OG being an interesting person to guard Wemby, maybe well suited for it. Like, how did that go?
I thought in general their defense was really good. Well, first of all, a mistake that I made is I did not think Wemby would guard Cat much, and he did early and didn't later on. He was on Hart more later. I thought that they would start it. I thought that was part of their game plan in retrospect. Is they started with, I think it wouldn't surprise me if Wemby says, I want Cat. That would not be, if I was in the press room, I would have asked the question. I don't think they did, but I didn't watch the press conference. I haven't seen any articles saying it, but Wemby's the type of guy like Kobe. Kobe would say, I want that guy. Jordan, same thing. I bet Wemby asked for it and it was a mistake. And I don't think we'll see as much of that going forward. On the other end, I thought the Knicks defense on Wemby was very good, except for they did a poor job contesting his threes. He wants to shoot those threes unless they want him to shoot it. So my rule is I call it early high hand contest. So our teaching point is we get our arm up high before he's even shooting the ball, because you got to get them to see your hand. The scientists will tell you now that if you're getting the hand up late, the shooters don't even know if you're contesting or not. That's why sometimes you'll see a block shot and you're like, why did you shoot the ball? Didn't you see it? No, I didn't see it. And you went there early enough, and he's just calling it right. But I teach our players, if you want him to shoot, then do the late high hand contest. Still get it up there, but you're inviting him to shoot without daring him. So we have a rule in my team. We never want dare shots. I shouldn't say never. In the NBA, we never want dare shots. In high school, we used to dare people all the time, and because it would get in their head. NBA players, I think they handle dares just fine. So just get your hand up late. They might have been wanting Wemby because the more he's out there, the less he's inside. And so that'll be an interesting thing to watch. But he's capable of making those shots. In fact, I'm not surprised when he makes big threes. He's a special player. But I have a feeling you'll see more early. He's not a high percentage
three-point shooter.
He's not. No, yeah. You're right. You're right. You're betting on the odds and not the superstar talent when you're doing that. But I thought Cat was good. I thought OG was good. I thought both teams rebounded pretty well. The fact that the Spurs had 14 offensive boards is impressive. Josh Hart was amazing, but the toughness to rebound I thought was very good. These are tough. You can tell they've been through the wars. They've been through the car wash. They came out clean, because there's a lot of little things they do with real toughness that Cavaliers and Sixers weren't doing.
The worst thing about all of this is James Dolan seems kind of smart for not hanging up the NBA Cup banner.
I didn't even think about that. Why would you even do that in the world? I didn't even think about that for a second. Has he said he'll never do it?
I don't know. I know he just said that he thought that this team was good enough to win the championship, and like I saw the other day Mike Brown had to like dance around and somehow answer a question where he had to end up praising James Dolan, which is like it's the stupidest thing in the NBA is like, can you say something nice about dear leader? And it's like, oh, dear leader. And like, it's just the dumbest. These are really smart, hardworking people. And on this topic, they're absolute buffoons, but he had to dance around and but now I'm like, like someone's going to write a story. It's probably already been written about like the great leadership of James Dolan and how it inspired this team. And I'm just like, no, man.
It's one of the, you've done a good job of, you've done a really good job of bringing the proper emotion to this fact. This is something you've argued for years, is we want to be able to root for the pure game and the pure players and coaches and staff and trainers. And I mean, there's an army of people supporting these players on Knicks payroll and Spurs payroll and on the players payroll. I know this. I deal with this all over the league. They have their own people, their own chefs and physios, whatever. And yet we have these fucking terrible people who
This
buy
is the
who are
fat.
owning
This is
this.
the fat. Yeah, this is the like.
Yeah.
I am. Well, look. So and give NBA players a problem, they will solve it, right? The problem that we're discussing today is Victor Wembanyama's defense, and so I'm suggesting that like they're gonna have solutions. Like they're gonna. I don't know what all it's gonna be, but they're gonna have a bunch of like a year from now, 5 years from now, there will be offenses working in ways that are much more efficient against Victor than everybody is right now. Because this is a very efficient development machine. Like and there was a time when Steph Curry's threes were like things
Yeah.
that nobody could fathom, right? And suddenly, but they worked on it. They got better at it, or they just got their own Steph Curry, right? Is one thing that happened. Um,
Oh,
Meanwhile, how are we doing on tanking? Like this is what James Dolan and his buddies have to solve. Like they're fucking nowhere on tanking. It's worse than when they started trying to fix it decades ago, right? And like poor Adam Silver has to go out there and just be like, "Oh, it's really time to get around to addressing this." It's like you guys suck. Like the part that you're supposed to do, you suck at it. Like the schedule's a mess. The players are all injured. Like that, the tickets are unaffordable. Like nobody can go. Like the owners suck at their jobs, and they get Adam to just like blah 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 blah, trying to make it sound like they're smart. Like they're not smart. They're not good at this. Like the players are amazing. That's the part of the league that I'm addicted to and that I love and it gets me excited. But like I'm so sorry that's subjected to just freaking James Dolan, and he's gonna get the trophy if the Knicks win the championship. They're gonna hand it to him.
hey, listen, I'm going to make some enemies here, but in general, I cannot stomach fans. This is not unique to basketball. You root for your team all you want, but when it becomes part of your identity, as if you're the tough guy, I don't have much patience for that. Knicks fans are as insufferable as any other type of fan. There's just more of them, and they've been around longer.
Everybody.
Yeah,
Sorry, everybody I know. Yeah.
I love your team. I could not love the Knicks, and I'm not a Knicks guy. I just love what I see. I love a team that plays that hard. And both teams, by the way, I thought made so many beautiful extra passes. Really unselfish. There's a reason why these guys are where they are. And if I was coaching a selfish player, I would show them all these clips of how quickly Miles McBride threw it to the corner, or Jalen make the extra pass. They just play beautiful basketball. It's not because of the fans. And so I want to root for the Knicks, but it kills me to think of what I even think about Dolan. It makes it much worse. I can handle the fans celebrating all they want as if they had any impact on any of it. But yeah, handing the trophy to the owner is not. Yeah, considering what he's done, that's not my favorite thing. But I'll be happy for the guys and say, I mean, we're the Spurs. I like the Spurs. I don't know the Spurs owner, but whatever. I'm not going to let them ruin the joy of what we're seeing. I hope they have a great game too. The game one was not great. It wasn't even all that dramatic, actually. I think we'll see more drama. I think there'll be some better games. The teams will feel each other out better. The Knicks have become a very good defensive team. They bring a lot of pressure to the ball. The Spurs will have some answers for that. And we'll see how they shoot. They have to, I don't trust their shooting guards ultimately. And big reason why I picked the Knicks, I just trust the Knicks shooters better. And neither team was great in this game, except for Champagne. We'll see what happens in game two.
If you coach the Spurs, what would you be saying right now to your team?
Well, a couple of things. One is, can we stop doing anything but play basketball? Can we just focus on us? Stop trying to punk them. They don't give a fuck what we're doing. Let's focus on us. That would be the first thing. I probably would say if we're going to lose, we're not losing to Brunson organizing everything and scoring on us. Let's guard him more like Shea. Let's try to rotate everyone more quickly and see if we can't make Hart shoot threes to beat us. We have to make sure he's a cutter. So Hart is smart. He's not just going to shoot a bunch of threes like Caruso did in a lot of the games. He's going to attack and cut, go get tip-ins and rebounds and so forth. So we have to try to account for that. We have to try to get Cat in foul trouble, be smart. More fakes against him, more attacks against him. Try to get him on us and attack his hips and make him work for that. And then the big thing would be everyone has to get Victor more involved in the paint. Make him don't throw it to him on the perimeter as if he's Shea or Jalen. He's not.
Mhm.
Make him look at him and then point to the paint. Make him get down there.
And,
Yeah,
"Hey,
get in
you're
there.
tall. Why don't you head on
Yeah,
in there?" Yeah.
yeah. And that's also going to force Cat to work harder. It's gonna have a tax on Wemby as well. But I think that's their best way to win doing that. I think New York has as many tiny little tweaks they can do as well. Both teams have to handle the ball better. I think the Knicks may have had a few more turnovers. Both teams can be sloppy with it. Game ones tend to be that way. There's a feel out process. The Knicks also had a rhythm issue, just hadn't played in so long. They just hadn't played very much. And they haven't played competitive basketball in even longer. I'm not that the Cavs every game was a blowout, it wasn't, but the last two were pretty ugly. Yeah, it's been a bit, but they've got a lot of swagger right now. That's why the Spurs have got to take care of game two, and they could. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think necessarily they will. It'll be close.
So one thing that's on my mind a lot is interior passing. So like what it comes up in one method, if like Victor closes on the driver, then it's pretty great to not have that guy shoot, right? Which means like maybe there's a way to shovel it to someone or lob. Um, but it's hard, right? It's hard because he's so good at getting in the way of everything. Um, Also, it's hard to get the ball to Victor, as you're pointing out, right? Like he can be just sandwiched in the paint, and he might have a good position, but he's not getting the ball there. And that struck me as you and I have talked a lot in the past about big to big passing, right?
Yeah,
Where that's a great way to solve this problem, but not a lot of teams play two bigs anymore, and I wonder if maybe they should.
yeah, they should. It's a shorter pass.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just had a call with a coach this morning, and he was asking me about the high-low action
yeah.
that the Thunder can do with Chet and Isaiah. We were talking about the East with Zubats now in Indiana with Siakam. Both those guys can pass, and both those guys can seal and score. Only one can shoot. Zubats so far anyway is not a shooter, but I absolutely think that there should be more of that. It's what the Knicks are doing. They just have another big to play with Cat. Maybe something to do in the offseason. But they can go high low with Cat low and like OG higher, that pinch post area. I definitely think the Spurs don't have a great four man. It's Wemby. So they don't really have personnel. But you can do it with I mean Barnes could do it some. He's just not he can't do it. You can't invert it, have Barnes inside. Gotta be Wemby inside and Barnes throwing that pass. But to your point on the drop off, they gotta slow down.
Yeah.
They rushed the Knicks rushed last night. They were afraid to shoot against Wemby, and he's good enough to both take away that high and the dish off. So you got to make them commit. You got to maybe give some fakes, just slow down, use some fakes, use some pivots, and then you can spray out. That's why I always stress second box. Everyone's one pass away in the second box from shooting, as opposed to two passes away, meaning a longer pass. So get in there, bring guys into you, and then occupy Wemby and dish, or occupy help and kick out. But don't be and just get off it right away because they're getting hands on it.
All right, we have some questions. Our friend Randy Shane, I'm not sure why he just said the word Sam Jones. Do you know why he would say Sam Jones right now?
Yeah,
Does he think Josh Hart is like Sam Jones? Is that what he's saying?
maybe.
Maybe.
I'm not 94 years old. Neither is Randy. And I don't know. I mean, I didn't. Yeah, Randy didn't move for Boston. Yeah, I don't know. Hart's
He
got a lot of
texted me
Havlicek.
about Sam Jones too. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. Yeah.
Hart's got a lot of Havlicek in him. Just a basketball player, man.
Yeah.
Just finds a way. There's a reason why that dude keeps winning games. He's a winner.
And then Drew said, "How about Alvarado stabilizing the team with Brunson out and Shamet staying so steady?"
Oh, I thought that was a big part of the story. Is
Yeah.
I thought Jose. I'm particularly sensitive to the Jose thing for two reasons. One, he was the first person my son ever told me is an NBA player when no one thought he was an NBA player. He played against him in the ACC championship game when my son was at Florida State. And he said he told me he might be on crack, but he's going to make the NBA. When his point was, he's just so on it.
He is like
And he,
the most electric. Like
yeah,
people talk about like the fire sign or whatever, like astrology. I'm like, I don't know, but like if anybody's got fire in them,
yeah,
it's that guy.
on the bench too. On the bench, he was living it up. And then I know because my guy Ryan Pannone that coaches Arkansas State now, where my son works, uh, he had Jose with the G League team and with the Pelicans, and Jose really struggled to be a kind of lead guard. He was more of a scoring guard, and I think he's grown. I really think he's grown into a quality backup in the NBA. I give him great credit, and he was good. Yeah, he was good last night, and he's ornery as hell on defense. Yeah, and Shamit too. Well, I mean, I don't think the announcers are smart a lot when they talk. First of all, it's hard for them. There's three of them, whatever. But Shamit's got to take the shots he's taking. That's his role. If you students are second guessing yourself, it does impact your next shot. But I thought, I mean, Shamit's he's a solid player now. It's what he needs to be for them.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny how the NBA season goes where, like, these are super, super important players in the finals who were not on the team a year ago. Wait, when did Jose join the team? He was there last year?
Alvarado got there this year.
This year, yeah.
And and Landry, Shamit was on a non-guaranteed contract this year.
Right. So these are like in your salary planning, they were not planned for, right? It's like, oh, we'll just get whoever we can get, right? We'll just get whoever we can get. We locked in the team that is our priority with roster spots and salary, and then we just got to fill in. And these are two guys, and they're fully getting minutes in the finals. Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's why I always say if you're drafting, you don't have to go for the home run at 21 or 24. Get someone you think can be on your team for a long time as a solid player. Get them to buy into that, and you got yourself a win.
Yeah. All right. Randy's explaining that first guy since Sam Jones under 6'5" to get 15 rebounds. That's why he's saying Sam Jones. Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Art's amazing. I mean, Knicks fans, man, Knicks fans. Actually, it's any fans. It's not unique to New York. They're all the same. There's only one. There's only one city I don't want to do ever radio more. Cleveland, because their fans were so nuts when I did radio for them many years ago on a series I ended up getting right, but because Cleveland won a couple of games early, they thought I was stupid for picking the other team, and it turns out the team I picked won. But they're all fans are always that way. I don't think Randy's bad. I actually listen. I love how much I love their team. We all do. I want everyone to buy tickets and want to go to the games and be there. And I love hearing the Knicks fans cheer, just like I like hearing the Spurs fans cheering if they can afford the tickets. I don't think many of the Spurs fans will be affording it. Maybe the former players only. They have the money for it. Not a lot of average San Antonio fans paying for Knicks tickets.
I can make this really dorky if you want. I see this strictly as like Daniel Kahneman's thinking fast or slow, right? The whole sport, the whole business, everything runs on thinking fast, by which I mean fans being emotional and elated and irrational and hugging each other and having the time of their lives, which is happening right now in New York, right? That party is what pays all of the bills. That's great. I have no criticism for that. However, being in that part of your brain specifically undermines you understanding the truth and recognizing what's happening around you, right? Like that's a thinking slow thing. So like you can, like I'm pretty much sure that our friend Daniel in the chat here is a Spurs fan and doesn't like you saying the Knicks are going to win. That's emotional. Not to pick on you, Daniel. It could be any fan.
Yeah,
but like it's upsetting to hear that your team is behind. But if you want, you don't want your doctor, for instance, to be a fan. You want that diagnosis, even if it's bad news, right? And so to me, like what we're doing here on this show is we're trying to figure out like what's most likely to happen for real based on like evidence, right? And so to me, that conversation, this is like the doctors talking about like, how long do your parents have to live or something, right? Like, fucking, that's unpleasant, like because you're invested because you just want them to live, and you want the doctor to say they'll be fine, but that's a lie sometimes, So to me, like like we're trying to be evidence based into like, that part of your brain where you're like, if we're not fans, if we're not clinical, I mean, if we're not emotional, we're more clinical. Like, what does the evidence most likely say? And to me, it's like, well, well, ABC told us 70% Knicks are going to win. Just kidding.
yeah. I think it was last year. I had I don't really tell many people who I work with, as you know, for a lot of reasons. They don't advertise it for sure, but honestly don't even tell my mom. That's true. I don't want it out. I don't want to get the text that I got last year from someone. I was a guy I went to college with, and I made a comment. He mentioned a player to me, and I said, "Yeah, he's one of my guys." And his team, did really well. Won a big playoff. Won a game in a playoff series. And my friend texted me, "Oh my God, you must be so excited." I'm like, excited? I'm closer to throwing up than being excited.
Yeah.
We won nothing. We won a game. Like there's none of that. Like, no. We are just
We don't party at
right?
work, you know? Yeah.
No, it's like I got to figure out what to do next and what are the adjustments we have to make, and they all do the same thing. When it's all said and done, what my favorite line is, "I'm not spiking the ball and call a touchdown."
Yeah.
Like we'll do that when it's all over. And I realize now I'm forever changed. I don't watch Gator football anymore like I used to because I can't celebrate. I told it, and even winning the game, what I got another game next week. If you're a football guy, I've been ruined that way from the business part of it. I can't just be a fan anymore and be irrational because no, none of the New York guys were celebrating yesterday. The fans were going nuts.
Yeah.
Those players, Jennifer Brunson, right to Scott Foster.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
What
That
do you
was a
think he was
master
thinking?
class. Fucking call some fouls, bro. I'm getting hammered out there. I'm not agreeing with Jalen necessarily at all. I think
Yeah.
it was physical on both sides, but hell yeah, he's just realizing it's a long series. This is one game. If I remember correctly, didn't the Thunder beat the Heat game one and then lost four straight? Like,
Mhm.
didn't Phoenix win the first two against the Bucks and lost four straight?
Mm.
Yeah, we're a long way from everything right now. It's one game, and but the fans are the fans, and let them do what they want to do. But the rest of us that are involved, well, I'm not involved. I'm just an analyst now. A lot of stuff have to happen. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and actually this 70% thing, you know, some series are closely matched and some are not. But the problem with
Right?
discussing game 1 is you're lumping in, like, all these series where they just weren't closely matched, which have nothing to do with this series, right? This is a closely matched.
Correct.
So those ones are all just garbage. There's also just
Right?
we strangely care about the order. But, like, let's say we were talking about dice rolls or, dealing cards, and it's like, "Oh, well, if
Yeah.
you get a 10 on the first card, then, like, what do you get?" It's like, those things are actually they're a tiny,
No.
tiny bit related because one 10's been used up, but
Yeah.
mostly it's like, "No, man," like, every series do we not know from what you just said and from watching the playoffs that, like, every series is a little journey of, like, you know, there's so many twists and
Yeah.
turns, and going up 2-0
So
does
many.
not mean it's over, and, I just feel like, of course, there'll
Nope.
be twists and turns. There's gonna be injuries, there's gonna be all kinds of stuff, right? And so, the notion that this is anything is certain now is like a joke, and if you were to just say, like, let's say this series I'm just gonna lie and make up that this series is going to be 2-2. Like, at that point, we all know nobody fucking cares if it was, you know,
Yeah. Who won
3-0,
the first
like, how
two?
we got to like, once it's 2-2, it's 2-2.
Yeah.
Like, we just all we have right now is the 1, so we obsess about what that projects. It doesn't project anything other than the Knicks got 1. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, that's what
Yeah.
it tells us. It tells us that, the Spurs defense didn't overwhelm the Knicks in a way that I thought it would. It didn't. Not in game 1. Like, that maybe reduces the odds it will in general. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe they just were tired or something, you know? But, I don't think they were tired for the record. But anyway, to me, like, it's just we got 1. That's all. We got 1. That guy Daniel says he loves you and respects you, by the way, David.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I don't mind that he thinks I'm wrong. I'm married 35 plus years. I have two twins who are 25 today and two younger brothers who think I'm the third smartest one when it comes to basketball. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not upset by any stretch of the imagination. Um, I think that a lot of people were caught up with the drama of Thunder versus Spurs, and they've elevated the Spurs into being a super team, and they're not.
Mhm.
They have an incredible future for obvious reasons. They are not a super team, and they did not beat a super team. And I think that's where Vegas got their odds, is because people were witnessing this most of those games weren't even good games, by the way. There weren't a lot of competitive games in that series. One team was really faltering because of the injuries they had, and the Spurs are super young, and they definitely defend really well. I think they fouled more than they called last night. I think New York also was capable of fouling a lot more than what they called last night. But I don't think the Spurs, this version, is a super team. Not even close. Not even close. Now, Castle keeps improving. Fox kind of finds his range, which may happen, by the way, in game two. Devin Vassell shoots better. Devin Vassell did not shoot well, shoots better. Harper grows into the. Someone said last night he's their second best player. I'm not sure I would agree with that even closely. I think he could be very good in spots. He has a chance to be an incredible scorer. What a gifted scorer. when you are not open and you get buckets, that's talent.
He
That's
doesn't
a
get split
Brunson
up.
has it too.
He's, like, super
Oh no,
athletic,
no, no,
but he plays at a
no.
nice slow pace, like, I always love that,
And he's
yeah.
powerful. And he's powerful. So I think they're going to be very, very good. The Spurs, Thunder, I mean, everyone wants to go to the East when they expand. I mean, I don't think the Lakers want to go East or the Kings, but I've talked to a lot of people involved with the Midwest teams. It's a big battle, including a team in Tennessee and New Orleans want to go East, right?
Yeah.
Because of those two damn teams, man. They're going to be tough for years to come. But for this year, New York is exactly what I thought they would be. San Antonio's got to take a big step forward for game two.
So we're gonna be back here in a week doing this video, and at that time, what will the finals be? Like, what will the record be in the finals?
Well, how many games will have played?
They're gonna
Four at
play
that point or three?
Friday. I think they will have played 4 games, yeah.
Friday, Monday, and Wednesday? Is
Wednesday, I think is right.
that right?
Or are they
Um, I, I could. It maybe only
I
three
think it's
games.
I think it's Friday, Monday, Wednesday. I think that's what it is.
I could see it being 3-1
Pretty much.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's more likely to be 2-2, but I think New York's the better team, and I think that New York, that the way the Knicks will play, it's not the fans, the way the Knicks will play, especially if they're up 2-0 or 2-1. In both cases, they have a chance to take the 3-1 lead. The Pacers blew it at home last year. I just think the Knicks. I mean, listen, the Spurs proved me wrong. More power to them because that means they've grown up really fast. But I'm an old school guy who thinks that it takes a while to get there, and I just don't think that'll be there this year. But it's certainly possible. So it's 55% chance for New York to win before game one. Maybe I'll give it 58, 59. Maybe the most I get is 60. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they've increased their odds a little bit.
yeah.
And there's going to be someone's going to get hurt. It's likely someone's going to get hurt. We don't know which team is going to have it, and it's going to have a huge impact on what goes on. I don't know which team it's going to be.
I'm not gonna say it in public because it's rude to speculate people hurt, but I think I saw something in game one that I was like, "Oh, that's" like, just based on my writing that book and all the, like, movement pattern stuff, like, there's a guy who moves in a way that scares me, and I'll tell you off air.
Tell me off there. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad you. I'm glad you're not saying it publicly. Good. Let's just
Yeah.
hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly right. I really hope it doesn't happen. Okay, thank you, everybody. Super fun, and we will see you in a week.